you go on and raise, how much money did you raise to start Stubhub?
So we started, the first thing we had to do was we had to raise a $500,000 convertible note. So just $500,000 of seed capital, which was in the summer of 2000. And I mean, now, later on, for our venture we have today, which has grown very fast, I've raised over $70 million of equity capital for the business. But this $500,000 was extremely difficult to get. Raising money for an online ticket scalping business that the former CEO of Ticketmaster thought was ludicrous at a time at which the internet had crashed. So we sort of begged, borrowed, and cobbled it together, from people I'd worked, the folks at Bain Capital put in some money, and a lot of people I'd worked with before. We were fortunate. We got Steve Young, the former 49er quarterback. Remember he had some connections to Bain Capital, harassed the guy. I remember he came, we had this dinky office, and sort of wouldn't let him leave until he wrote the check, and pulled together $500,000. And we sort of had to go over the next couple of years just cobbling it together a little bit at a time.
So $500,000 first round, and then later on you raised about how much more?
Yeah, then it was like $1.5 million, and then over time it was really like $7 million. And then we also had the experience of the next time we had to raise major money was right after September 11th, which was terrible, so you can imagine, because that's exactly what people were thinking about after September 11th was like funding anything. So you'd be calling some guy in Chicago who's in like the World Trade, the Sears Tower, and he's like, I'm on the 90th floor of the Sears Tower. I'm not really focused on this today. But we got the money, and we ended up being better off for it. It was very difficult to raise, but because we cobbled it together, we were able to maintain control and not have to seed to one big investor and have one big fish. So it was a harder sort of gauntlet to go through, but it ended up paying off for us.